You should definitely watch this video if you're struggling to solve DSA problems. Leetcode was super hard for me until I learned these 5 techniques which I'll be discussing as part of this video. Trust me, I felt very sad and helpless for not being able to solve even an easy coding question while my friends used to solve 4 to 5 questions within the same time period. I used to complain a lot with my friends on every single day that why in the world does companies ask coding questions in the interviews while it's useless in our day-to-day job. After failing in many interviews, I accepted the harsh reality that in order to crack interviews, we definitely need to be a pro at solving DSA. If I'm being honest, it's not that people don't know how to code, but they don't know how to prepare for interviews. After all the hard work and struggles that I faced, these 5 techniques helped me in landing offers from 9+ companies, including Google and Amazon. Without any delay, let's get into details. Technique number 5. Choose Python for solving DSA. Python is very easy to understand and you can read Python code as if you are reading plain text. While solving problems, this will let you focus on the problem-solving logic and not worry on complex syntax. It has a lot of inbuilt libraries or the functions, and due to this, the lines of code that you write to solve a problem is far less compared to other languages. For example, this is a solution to count the number of bytes in a given file in Python, which is only 28 lines of code, while this is a solution in Java, which is like 76 lines of code. I'm not saying not to learn other languages, but Python gives you an unfair advantage, especially during interviews. Technique 4. Pattern matching. Especially in the beginning, you should put more time into learning solutions rather than solving questions, so that you will start developing an intuition within the topic more quickly and then solve questions faster. Coding patterns have been the greatest game changer for me when it comes to coding interviews. Once I was able to learn what these patterns are, it supercharged my interview prep in ways I never thought of before. I was able to walk into interviews and have the confidence that no matter what the problem was given to me, if I could determine which pattern best suited for the problem, then I would be able to solve it no matter what. Some of the famous coding patterns are sliding window, 2 pointers, union find, modified binary search, etc. And here are some of the examples of sliding window pattern problems. Instead of solving question by question, see the common pattern of how these questions were solved. As you keep solving more problems, you need to bucketize these solutions into a pattern. Please comment below if you want me to share the top frequently asked questions based on coding patterns. Practice like it's a game day. What I meant by this is basically you need to mimic the real world coding interview as much as possible. When I first started doing Leetcode, I did over like 50 questions, but still I wasn't that great because I would just hit that submit button early and look up the solution. By following this approach, I haven't learned a single thing. You need to get used to solving problems the same way you would in a real life interview setting. Put yourself a time limit to solve a particular problem. In general, interviews are scheduled for 45 minutes to 60 minutes. So I would say spend not more than 1 hour to solve a single question. I recommend that for easy questions, aim for around 30 minutes, and for medium and hard questions, give yourself at least like 45 minutes and up to an hour. If you're stuck while solving a problem, don't be afraid to look up the solution. The key here is to fully understand the solution before moving on to the next one. You can mark these questions and come for the review later. Quality versus quantity. Which one do you think between quality and quantity is the right one to go with in this context? Both are equally important, at least according to me. What I meant by that was, for example, if you start solving a single problem related to backtracking concept and you fully understood the solution, and do you think it's okay to skip to the next coding pattern? No. Practice at least 10 similar problems to get used to the pattern, otherwise you will most likely end up forgetting the pattern. Prep smarter, not harder. Focus on the questions that have a higher likelihood of being asked during a coding interview. Focus more on arrays, strings, hash maps, BFS, DFS, priority queues compared to graphs, dynamic programming, or try, etc. Out of my 10 years of experience, I never witnessed a deeply hard question being asked in an interview. It's very common for candidates to get overwhelmed during interview prep because they think that they have to solve hundreds of problems or tackle a bunch of hard problems. But that's just not true. I'm not saying to ignore less commonly asked question types like graphs, try, disjoint sets. You should still study those topics too. The point I'm trying to make is to prioritize questions that have a higher chance of being asked. But still, if you're stuck at graph problems, then focus on graphs. Or if you're stuck at dynamic programming problems, focus on dynamic programming problems. I find this strategy very effective and it helped me to stay on course when I was prepping for my interviews. Always remember, prep smarter, not harder. These are my top 5 things which helped me to make my Leetcode journey easy. Hope it will be helpful for you guys too. Stay tuned for my next one. Cheers.